Yo. Thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, we're going to talk about one of the most phenomenal albums to come out in the year of 1988. If you've been following this podcast, you know that we've talked about a lot of albums that are turning 30 years old. And on this podcast, we're going to talk about Don't Be Cruel, the smash album from Bobby Brown 30 years later. And I got a special co-host coming through. My homie, Eclectic, is in the building. We're two huge Bobby Brown fans, so this podcast was extremely dope to do. And, if you're not careful, you might learn a few things about us in this podcast. Now, before we get started, I want to apologize. You will hear some words being chopped by me. It's not by design. It's just that the signal went in and out, and there was like a major Category 5 thunderstorm going on at the time of this recording here in Atlanta. But you can hear me nonetheless. So sit back, relax. We'll drop the theme music, and we'll get the podcast jumping. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. And as I mentioned in the intro, we got family in the building. This guy, he's been on here before. He needs no introduction. So, damn it, I'm not going to give him one. You know him. You love him. He actually once tried to dig his way to China.
Did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eclectic is in the building. E, what up, man?
Yo, what's going on? It's King of Stage. It is true. I did attempt. It was a group of people, mind you. 3 tried to dig to China. Didn't make it.
How far did you get?
About 5 feet. we got a good spud web.
That reminds me of the Bugs Bunny cartoon where he digs and digs and digs and he always says he should have made that right turn at Albuquerque.
Because you're supposed to dig and China's supposed to be on the other side upside down. That's where we got the idea from the Bugs Bunny cartoon. And then if you go back to the archives of the podcast, Eclectic Discussion podcast, the digging the China story did not end well.
No, it did not.
I don't know if you remember how.
I remember it. I remember it clearly.
It did not end well, and we'll leave it at that.
Yo, man, you've been on here thousands of times. I've been on your podcast thousands of times, and it's been a while since we've talked about R&B music. In fact, I was thinking back a little earlier. The first time that we talked about R&B was your first episode, about Mary J. Blige. Did she kill R&B? Which we know she didn't.
Oh, she 100% did.
No.
Listen, again, popular misconception. I hate Mary J. Blige. I do not. I celebrate Mary J. Blige. I am a big fan of Mary J. Blige. First 4 albums. After that, I don't care. But I'm a fan.
Right.
But she did kill R&B, and it's not even a knock on her because she didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. But yes, we did talk about R&B. We talked about it then. The blend tape we got over into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe another joint. But yeah, we talked a little bit. But it's typically a hip hop affair.
Typically hip hop. But what a lot of people don't know, or people who follow you on social media should know. You're a huge fan of R&B as well, and more particular, you celebrate an era just like I do. And so, what I wanted to get you on this podcast to talk about, as many of you know who've been following this podcast, 1980 was an incredible year for hip hop.
It's the greatest year, period. I mean, and exactly. It just might really be the greatest year of American history.
Exactly. I totally agree. But one thing people don't understand is that, that it wasn't just for hip hop as well. There was some phenomenal R&B albums to come out as well. I did a podcast earlier on the New Edition Heartbreak album.
The only thing wrong with that show that you did.
Tell me.
Never mind. I ain't gonna say.
You weren't on it.
Exactly. I mean, come on. I mean, how you gonna, But anyway, go ahead.
Well, speaking of New Edition, man, there was a guy who dropped an album June 20th, 1988. This album is turning 30 years old this year. The album, Don't Be Cruel, the artist, Bobby Brown. So I wanted to get you on a podcast to talk about Bobby Brown's album. Now,
Beresford.
So most people know, or maybe they don't know, that this was Bobby's second studio album after being, I don't know if you want to call him released, kicked out, pushed away.
He left.
From New Edition.
He left.
So let's start right there, man. Because we got the news, I don't know how you got it. I think I
got it from Donnie Simpson.
I think I heard about it on the radio. I mean, of course, there was no internet back then. What were your thoughts when you heard that Bobby Brown was going solo?
Also, he's good to go solo.
Right.
So, a little backstory, because people that listen to this only know the hip hop side of me.
Right.
The good side. I'm a big New Edition fan.
Same here.
But the thing that makes me subject to public ridicule from my friends and family is in discussions of Music Affair, where everybody from my era, my generation, everybody has to have a favorite something. Mm-hmm. Everything you gotta have a favorite. It doesn't matter what is your favorite pea in that bowl of peas. This one, the one with the butter on it. My favorite male singer of all time, to this day, is Bobby Brown.
Mm.
He's people, but he can't say, what about Luther? What about Stevie? What about Shut Up? It's Bobby Brown. Because I'm a big New Edition fan, and from the jump, Bobby was my favorite in New Edition. Got a solo on Mr. Telephone Man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so since that is the thing, I love the Bobby Brown solo. So what happened was, I'll never forget, I was sitting on the bed, Video Soul was on, Donnie Simpson came on after a commercial and said, hey, and I believe I was on the phone with a girl, because I talked to girls back then on the phone, and you had to play the music in the background.
Shout out to the slow jams in the background.
This is what happened. He came back and he put Bobby Brown, it was a little square, up his picture, and that shut everything down. I was on the phone like, all right, I gotta go. I'm about to hear some news. This guy Bobby Brown is my dude. And he had said they was no longer with New Edition. My reaction was shock, and then I was sad until he said that Bobby Brown is working on his solo album. Then I was hyped and said out loud, fuck New Edition. I thought I was done with Bobby Brown forever. I didn't know he was going solo. I ain't need them. It's like the Projects, the PJs, and the rest of New Edition was the two DJs.
Wow.
So, meanwhile, not to make it seem like I'm some kind of gully dude, I went and bought Under the Blue Moon. Just listening to Ralph sing Earth Angel. But,
that's the only I liked on that album.
That 1,000 Miles Away.
No.
Ooh, 1,000 Miles Away was crazy. And Tears on My Pillow. with Lil Anthony on it. Anyway, I'm a big New Edition fan. You gotta, you know.
Well, it's too many fans right here, so it's all good.
Yeah. So, but no, I was hyped because Bobby Brown is my dude, and his first album, King of Stage, has my favorite Bobby Brown song on it. So
and that would be
Girlfriend. Yeah. Girlfriend's my favorite Bobby Brown. And then Girl Next Door might be, it's probably in my top 5. I love Girlfriend and Girl Next Door. Man, you can't, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when you heard that, you're excited, King of Stage comes out.
Yes.
It was a good album. Wasn't as commercially successful as they probably thought or liked it to have been.
Well, see, no, but.
Okay.
Girlfriend was huge.
It was.
And then he had the song 17, Girl Next Door. This was when he was going through his Larry Blackman cameo stage. You know, he was even wearing the Rick Cock piece in the Girl Next Door video. So no, I didn't do everything that, you know, the next album did. I mean, Girlfriend was number 1 on the soul charts, but yeah, it was an okay release, especially in comparison to what New Edition was doing. Because you also got to understand that when he went solo, New Edition was still doing their album, and what was that? All for Love, I think.
Yep.
And because All for Love has my favorite New Edition song. And I'm the only person on the planet. Favorite New Edition song is Count Me Out.
Yeah. But I ain't mad at you, though.
And so the thing about that, though, is a lot of Bobby's vocals was on All for Love.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you look at the Count Me Out video, Ricky is singing Bobby's part. So that's Bobby's vocals on the video, and Ricky is lip syncing Bobby's part because he wasn't in the group anymore. So I mean, it's a thing. But anyway, but then 88 hit, and Bobby Brown was no longer with the shits. And Don't Be Cruel. Number 1. So Don't Be Cruel came out. But it came out. This was when you didn't know about a Tuesday.
Right.
And you didn't even know somebody had an album coming out. You found out that somebody had something that was at our age when the video came on.
Pretty much.
That's how you knew something new was coming, because it was a video. And Donnie would tell you, hey, we got a world premiere. Because the radio, you only listen to the radio when you was in the car with your parents, and if your parents didn't turn to the right station, you wasn't going to hear anything.
Nope.
And if they putting in Lionel Richie and not even turning on the radio, you're really not going to hear nothing until they get out to pump the gas and you turn it real quick. So Don't Be Cruel, the album and the first single, came out of nowhere. And that was like right in the beginning of the summer. And it came on the video. He ain't even look like the old Bobby Brown. This was crazy. The Don't Be Cruel song. So much so, I still, when I'm out, if I'm out drinking with friends or not, and a woman is acting a certain way, I call her a Jackie because of Don't Be Cruel. And one day, this was funny. One day, we was all at the bar. I think it was at brunch, and it's a group of us go to brunch, and one of them she had said something, and I had a mimosa because I'm brunching, and I put it up in the air to her, and I was like, saying, "You ain't shit, Jackie." And then it was like, well, I was like, I put a drink up. She didn't even toast. And it took him a second.
Wow.
It took him a second to get it, though. I was like, man, why wouldn't she toast Bobby, man? Jackie ain't shit,
gotta
man.
toast Bobby.
Yeah, man, don't be cruel.
Oh, man. So do you remember, like you said, there was no, in 88, there was no rollout.
No rollout.
There was no special
pre-warming.
Nothing.
No.
Ironically, and music heads will know this, but ironically, I'm going to say it anyway, this Don't Be Cruel album dropped the same day that New Edition dropped Heartbreak album, and this was their first album. This was their first studio album without, Bobby Brown, and they had added My friend over there is not a fan of JG. So tell me, do you remember the first time you got your hands on this tape? Because I'm assuming you didn't have the album.
No. It was right around Prerogative came out.
Okay.
And here's the thing, and this made my heart smile. Arguably, New Edition's greatest album is Heartbreak.
Right. My favorite.
That's what almost anybody you will ever talk to, their favorite album is Heartbreak. I mean, if it isn't love, everybody loves it. It's love, they're going to do the dance and everything.
Stand the Rain?
Can't Stand the Rain. Most of it is good.
This guy.
And you take his face off on that. I just hate him.
Well, yeah, okay, there you go.
No, that Boys the Band, crazy.
But I meant to hit you the other day. You tweeted the what was the video?
Any Heartbreak, right?
Yeah, the Heartbreak video. And I watched the clip. It's like a maybe 2-minute clip, and Johnny Gill's dancing.
Oh my God, he's dreadful. I hate him. He
should
never been a thing. But what made my heart smile, what made me feel good, it's kind of bad, but Heartbreak is New Edition's most popular album. Definitely that. And it had hits. Love and Rain, and I think my favorite song is nobody's favorite song off there. Kind of Girl.
Okay, I can see that.
Where We All Started. That might be my favorite. Kind of Girl's my second. Where We All Started is my favorite shit. But the Don't Be Cruel album came out, like you said, same day. Nobody cared about fucking Heartbreak. When you say an album took over the country,
it did.
Don't Be Cruel. Don't Be Cruel dwarfed everything. It had 10 songs. Don't Be Cruel had 10 songs. We're not counting the fucking extra cruel. And half of them were Billboard slams.
Yeah.
It had 5 Billboard. He ran. This is what people, and it's a different time now. When that joint dropped, he was still at the top of the charts in 89. He ran it. He ran the rest of that year and most of 89.
Right.
Off of one album. Fucking crazy,
when you say ran music, Bobby Brown literally had it on a string. He strangled it.
Yeah.
He had music by the throat. Like, you could not go anywhere without hearing this album. You couldn't turn on a TV and not see a video.
It was legit the biggest music artist in the country.
For those of you that's scoring at home, I'll just read to you the singles that my friend here just referred to. These were how they were released. Don't Be Cruel. That came first. That was released May 17th, 1988. So that came out slightly before a month before the album. My Prerogative came second. That was released August 23rd, 1988. So you basically got the album, got your hands on the album probably about a month and a half or so after the album dropped.
Mm-hmm.
The third single, December 27th, 1988. Then you go to the fourth single. Now, for those of you listening, most artists don't get a chance to release 4 singles from an album.
Right.
So it's 4 single. Every Little Step. That's released January of 89.
Doing good research over there, by the way.
And then he comes back. Thank you, sir. And then he comes back with the 5th release.
The 5th.
Rock With You. August 15th, 1989. That's a full calendar year of dominating the charts. This album goes 7 times platinum.
And mind you, we didn't count any of the remixes.
No remixes. I mean, so it was incredible. So that, like he said, 10 songs, basically, and that's your 5. And they dominated the charts.
I mean, and again, no pre-promotion, no hype. That dropped and people was like, yeah. This is what it is.
And what's even more amazing is that there was I don't know how big it was because, I mean, we were little, but there was a segment of the population that really thought after King of Stage that Bobby didn't have it. And given the fact that New Edition had this new member and nobody knew.
Doing interviews with the new group and everything. Bobby did no interviews before that joint came out.
No, nothing. So he comes out of nowhere, drops this classic album for 1988. And he took everybody by storm because nobody thought that he could pull this off. So I guess the other question I had is, and we just kind of touched on a little bit, looking back on this album, what stand of I guess probably a myriad of things, what stands out to you on this album?
Well, I'll tell you what. What stood out is I realized where New Edition got their, I'm not even going to use the word, I hate that word, got their, I need a better word. I need a different word. I'm not using that word. I hate that fucking word.
Stilo.
No. They got their oomph from, I realized that because the outside of the end of Heartbreak, there's no rapping. There's no rappity on the New Edition.
Right.
But, you know, Bobby telling us about Jackie's telling us his name is Brown and that's what they call him. And he's good to go soul. I mean, he's doing diss tracks.
Right.
he's good to go solo. Guaranteed to bust a stupid rhyme. I mean, hey, man. It stood out. It stood out that he made a album that had dance, that made you want to dance. He also showed that he was a dancer.
Yep.
And he was the ultimate performer. He was the performer. Because you got to, when Bobby Brown dropped, you had to compare it to New Edition. You had to.
Mm-hmm.
And when you looked at it, you're like, damn. It's like, in reality, it was like if you had Hammer with the Temptations. Like they tried to do their moves, and this dude in the back doing fucking the Chinese typewriter across the They like, yo, what you gotta go, man. What are you doing?
Right.
Because you didn't realize until after it happened, when you look back at old performances, you're like, yo, he over there wilding out.
Right. What is he doing?
He's taking his shirt off, and everybody else got their fully clothed.
He's humping the stage. Literally.
So, also what happened, this is the other thing that people need to know. Around this time is when my man started getting arrested. But not for selling drugs or shooting nobody. For stage antics.
Simulating sex acts on stage.
Yes. He had men leaving their bodies back then. So much so, and we're jumping ahead, we're jumping around, but on this album, he has a song called Roni.
Yep.
Which is short for Tenderoni. If you believe in love and all it can do for you. But I'll never forget this. The video for Roni came out of nowhere. I remember I was actually on the same bed when I heard the New Edition split. I was on the phone with this girl. I'm not gonna say her name.
Shout out to Karen.
When she was making raisin fucking. So no, but again, it came on, and I was recording videos. I was on the phone with her. I was recording videos, chilling, and the shit came on. I got the phone with her. I was like, I was Bobby Brown. Listen, people don't understand. Bobby Brown's my dude. So
right.
The second time I got off the phone with a female because Bobby Brown was on TV. In '88, it would have been pause all over the place.
Right.
But the reason why I bring it up is because on the Roni video, it was a stage performance. It wasn't a regular video. And he was on stage doing a show. It was like a live show. And on the breakdown of Roni, he had a woman come up on stage. And to tie it into what I was saying is, when she got up to him on the stage, on the video for Roni, he said, what we're about to do.
I remember that.
You don't need no shirt, your jacket, nothing. And she took it off.
The Brown Bomber.
And then she got up closer to him, and he said, he grabbed her and said, this ain't gonna hurt, not a bit. And then he grabbed her, turned to the audience, the crowd, and said, I guess this is what I got arrested for. And then he started grinding on her. Hey, dog, Bobby Brown was that dude.
Shout out to Airs. Tri-humps.
He said, I guess this is what I got arrested for.
I remember that. You took me back, man. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Man, you. Oh. And so this is when he was the bad boy. So when New Edition was doing interviews, it's like, they could be like, see, this dude, wild now. This is why we couldn't work with this dude. But so it's that definitely stood out. The songs he had different kind of songs. You can't do the Don't Be Cruel and then have the Roni. But what set it off was My Prerogative.
Yes. Hell yeah.
For multiple reasons. And one of the reasons is the most obscure, only me. I'm the only one that you're going to hear it from in your entire life, people that's listening to this, and Kyle. But before I get to that reason, that song sounded like nothing else that ever came out.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing sounded like that song. And it came out, live performance, grinding, he got the hair popping, and ultimately, and listen, we're all family here that's listening to the show. This is no judgment zone. That is the first time in my entire life I've ever heard of the word prerogative. When I saw, I did not even know what it meant when that song came out. I was just like, okay. And then with context clues, because we were in an era where music made sense.
Right. Made a lot of sense.
when the lyrics went with something, I was like, this is my prerogative. I can do what I want. He kind of just told me. All right, got it. Mind you, we're also in the era where the next day you go to school, like, man, give me that dictionary. Let me see what that's like. Yeah. It's my prerogative. Right. That's why I'm not taking the trash out. Huh? Oh, okay. I'm still taking it out. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that song set it off. Now the most obscure reason, because I can't monopolize the whole podcast. The most obscure reason why I loved My Prerogative is because in the video there's a woman with kind of a afro-y type hair. I think she's playing the bass. Okay. She's playing the bass of the guitar with the keyboard thing.
Yeah.
And she has the black top on. She's doing the dances with the guy. Very, very attractive.
Very attractive.
She's the same girl who raps, lip syncs the first verse of Oaktown Street 57, yeah, on that video.
For real?
Yes.
Wow.
And that video, I wanted her. Because she wasn't really a member-ish of Oaktown Street 57. But if you go back and watch,
when we finish this podcast, I'm going to go back.
As soon as it come on, so you ain't even got to fast forward through it. It's the first, she's the first person rhyming. And so then when My Prerogative came, I was like, yeah, it's her. And that was hey. So yeah, I told you, I'm the only person that's ever going to tell you that.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, same chick.
You touched on a lot of great stuff, man. I think that album, I mean, like you said, one of the things that really stood out was that there was no press, there was no nothing. I mean, like, I'm sure we probably knew that the album was coming out, or we knew that he was coming out with an album, but it wasn't.
Man, I didn't.
I knew because I heard him talk about it on the radio, but it wasn't like how it is now, or even back in the 90s where you would, there would be some type of rollout or whatever like
commercials
that.
And posters up and nothing. Street team and.
But when this album hit, it really spread like wildfire. Like everybody, I just remember getting a tape. And I might have gotten the tape maybe a couple of weeks after it dropped. And I couldn't stop playing it. I mean, and again, this was in an era where, and we've discussed, and we'll talk about even more podcasts, how much great hip-hop came out that year. This R&B album was crazy. And Bobby was everywhere. And, like, again, I think one of the things, and much like E, Bobby Brown's my favorite member of New Edition, too. He's always been my favorite member. And so I was so happy for him. Now, I'm one of the few people that I really like King of Stage. I mean, some people, looking back on it now, was it as good as probably he would have wanted it to be? But I thought that, and I don't know if it was just because I'm just that big of a fan, but this was totally different from King of Stage. And Bobby's delivery on these songs, and then when we saw the videos, it was a wrap. I mean, like, people, I think it's good that they came out the way that they did in 88 as opposed to 2018, because social media would have killed New Edition for the fact that, and don't get me wrong, those albums will always be, linked together, because although it wasn't Bobby's first solo album, this album was really going to make or break Bobby, right? And this New Edition album coming out and this new member, I mean, we kind of knew who Johnny Gill was, but nobody wasn't really checking for him like that.
Still ain't.
But yeah, man, Bobby, and like that, you watch the videos, he literally had women just, I mean, you hadn't seen women pass out like that since like Michael Jackson. And people fainted for Michael Jackson, but it was a different kind of faint. Like they wanted to get with Bobby, and then Bobby would have these stage shows that were just like, I remember he had a show in, I want to say Augusta. It was somewhere in Georgia, either Augusta or Macon. And the cops told him, like, look, when you go on stage, you can't do this. You can perform your song, but you can't simulate sex acts. Yo, 5 minutes on stage, there's a bed on stage. Bobby's like, I'm going in. And he gets arrested. I mean, now, again, that's 88. That what happened back then would probably be considered very tame, compared to now.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved it, man. I loved it. And I was always a fan before. When this album dropped, I think fans like me and he really could, stand up and be like, yo, this is our guy. And this is what put Bobby Brown in the echelon where we thought that he should be.
He ran it. Yeah, he ran that whole year.
He literally did.
I mean, Smooth Criminal came out that year. We was like, yeah, all right, Mike, man, go sit down somewhere, man.
So I mentioned the New Edition album. There were a couple of other dope albums that came out that year. Off the top of your head, man, as far as R&B albums, where do you rank this album as far as R&B albums that dropped in 1988?
Oh, just R&B albums in 1988?
Well, I mean, if you wanna throw hip hop in there,
that's unfair. I was
about to say, because that's tough.
I just meant you're just saying 88.
Yeah, just 88
instead of all right. So, fine. All right. What is my rank? Is it favorite or best?
Let's go best.
It might be the same ranking. And for me, listen. Even though Bobby Brown is my favorite singer, and Don't Be Cruel is my favorite album by my favorite singer, it is not my favorite album of 88. Because my favorite R&B album of all time, second favorite, it's probably favorite, it's tied. It's Guy.
Okay.
So, where do I rank Don't Be Cruel? Don't Be Cruel is probably number 2. I will give you my top 5 in order for 88.
Go ahead.
I could do that. I know I could do that. Number 1, Guy. Number 2, coming in at number 2, Don't Be Cruel. Number 3, this is tough.
Very tough.
Because my heart says Heartbreak. But my brain is telling me number 3 is In Effect Mode.
I ain't mad, though. I'm not mad.
Number 4 would be Heartbreak.
That's tough.
And number 5, to shock everyone that is listening, Hanging Tough by New Kids on the Block. No, that is not Hanging Tough by New Kids on the Block. We can't end the podcast. I think number 5. Ooh, Just Coolin' came out of 88, didn't it? It's gonna be Troop by Troop.
Surprisingly, that has become one of the favorite albums for my son Cameron. I don't know why.
Because he's really my son.
I'm gonna send him to your house.
Reveal.
He is. I mean, like, this kid is really in the troop. He was asking me some questions.
Has he heard Attitude?
No, I think he's just on this album. I think.
All right, listen. This is totally off the topic. Attitude is in my top 5 favorite R&B albums of all time. Period.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
Not just the year. Period.
Okay, I'll tell him that.
Make sure tell him, and then tell him to hit me up and tell me what he thinks.
He ain't even on to it.
I like Attitude more than I like Don't Be Cruel.
Wow,
that's how much I love.
Yeah.
Attitude.
You know what's weird, man? I don't even know. Cameron's 15. I don't know how or where he found Troop, but he was just in here yesterday singing. Like
Mamacita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was singing like all the songs. He was cleaning the kitchen. I'm like, bro, what? And, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything.
That joint got My Heart on it.
Mm-hmm.
Still in love.
And I'm talking. He's singing and he knows the words. Like I don't even remember the words.
So underrated, man. Their first 2 albums was crazy. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Okay.
Do you got anything that you would put on there? You put Love Sexy. You got Love some Alphabet Street on your shits.
That was 88.
Yeah. Glam Slam.
Oh, damn, I miss Prince.
Any Love? Luther. Yeah, Luther. That came out.
You know what, man? Nah.
Yeah, She Won't Talk to.
I love Luther, but no, your list is good.
Message from the Boys. Down My Heart. Down My Heart. Lucky Charm.
Hell no. Yeah, I probably go Don't Be Cruel first, and then
Break.
That's tough. That guy.
It's tough though,
right?
Guy
album, bro. There's got to be a Guy podcast too as well.
Oh man, that shit gonna be 3 hours.
So.
I know you got giving you the best I got. Yeah, Anita Baker. Oh. Haircut like Anita Baker.
Yeah, I need to do one too. Wow. So yeah, I don't disagree. In Effect Mode was.
In Effect Mode is great. So the reason because if you don't do an In Effect Mode,
there will be one too.
Because the important thing about In Effect Mode, and I hate people that follow me on One Gotta Go when I put In Effect Mode up there because they shit on it. What they don't understand is In Effect Mode was much like Don't Be Cruel.
Mm-hmm.
In Effect Mode only had 8 songs.
8 songs. And I think...
And he had...
6 number ones? Something like that?
5.
Okay.
He only had 3 songs that were not released as a single.
And they were still good songs.
They were crazy. People don't realize how dope In Effect Mode was. Yeah, if Don't Be Cruel didn't exist,
right,
I'll be sure it would have been.
Yeah, but Bobby ran 88. He really did. So yeah, y'all stay tuned for that. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the 2 of us will have to come back and do the Guy podcast and the In Effect Mode podcast.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, this is a great time for a commercial break. Let's take a quick commercial break, and on the other side of the break, when we come back, we'll talk about the tracks. Talk about some of the tracks that we like, maybe tracks we didn't like. And then, I'll ask you a question about, which song could he get on here and jam to. So sit tight. We'll be back in just a second.
Sure.
Man. Album sales, from what I'm told, are now at like 2.9 million.
Yes.
You're about to go triple platinum. Now, when you
After 6 months.
In 6 months?
Yeah, my
album's off 2 singles, basically, right?
Yeah, my album's only been out to 6 months.
That's scary, man.
It's real scary.
Do you make any predictions on what the final figure would be?
Well, MCA has made the predictions, but I was bold when I first came out with the album.
Uh-huh.
I really knew I just felt this album was gonna do a lot, and Now, I really don't know what it could sell. They say it could sell to at least 5 to 6 million.
Yeah.
6 to 7, hopefully. I predict 6 to 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
I want to sell more than Janet.
Yeah.
I do.
And what was her figure? 6 or 7?
6 or 7, one
Well,
or the other. I know, but she sold a lot of albums.
Why Janet? Why more than Janet?
Because Janet is just, as you know, I'm madly in love with her.
Right, you
I
mentioned that
can't be
before.
with her, and it's just it itches me. It's like it hits me in my spine, like oh, Janet. Okay, let me calm down. You might be watching too.
Bobby, that's no act. You really are in love with Janet, aren't you?
That's
you
no
said that
act.
when you were here 3 years ago.
Yeah, Donnie, I thought you knew that.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
But-
I'm
well,
serious. I am very
know
serious.
that,
Serious
but-
as my slopes. I'm serious.
But does she know that?
Yes.
And how does she feel about you?
Well, you know, we done talked a few times.
Yeah.
You know, nah. She's a nice girl, and I like you. You know.
Okay, I'm sad.
And just like that, we are back. Once again, it's your boy 12 Kyle, the 12 Kyle podcast. And I got my man Eclectic in the building, and we're talking about the Don't Be Cool album, the 1988 smash from the king of R&B,
Yes,
Bobby Brown.
man. On My Prerogative, when he hit that skirt. Oh, go ahead.
And funny that you mentioned that as we talked for the break. You mentioned the young lady in the video. While we were talking, I did pull up the video.
Did you?
That's her.
Hey,
Bruh,
yeah,
I forgot all about. And why is she in the video and she wasn't in 357?
Hey, man. So so that video had, I think, all the original members in it, but
Yep.
after that video, it was just Terrible T and Sweet LD, but it used to be Lil P. But yeah, so she was on there.
Cute too.
She was beautiful.
She's probably about
And so
60
then
right
if you
now.
go to the My Prerogative video, you'll see her
Playing
on
the
stage.
keyboard side.
same haircut.
Yep. Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, cutie too.
That's how my brain was working at 88. I was like, hey.
And you know what's weird now that I think about it? You had to be on your P's and Q's because while she gets a lot of camera time in this 357 video, she's getting flashes in the Bobby Brown My Prerogative video. So it took something for you to, unless you had the videos recorded, which you probably
Nah.
okay, so you went off the dome.
Hey, I was just watching like, hey.
That's funny.
Man, because this is back when you saw it, you had to come see it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because when the video was on, if you didn't record it, you better be watching because you didn't know when it was coming back on.
Because that was the same. What's that? Yeah. That was the same year. That was 88.
Yeah. Great year for music. So let's get into these tracks, man. The album starts off with the Cruel Prelude, and then they go into the Don't Be Cruel. Now we talked a little bit about this song. What's your when someone mentions this song? What it made me not even the video. What comes to mind when you first think about this song?
Jackie, the weird shirt that he had on in the video, and the girl butt when she was dancing like in front of the monitor, and that he was kind of doing a Max Headroom thing with his head on the big monitor.
Mad Max.
And that might have been the first R&B song in the history of the world that used the word Ellen in it.
Yeah, because Ellen did not appear in any non-rap song.
No.
None, not at all. I remember one of the things that stood out. I mean, this particular song was like And I remember one of my
It's
boys.
just so. I'm sorry. Don't forget what you guys
Go
say.
ahead.
It's just so random. Just Jackie. Like, who the hell is Jackie, Bobby?
Well, that's actually leads into what I was going to say, because one of my boys, he was saying that he thought, because there was a rumor that he was dating Janet Jackson. And, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
you think that's who it was?
that's what the rumor was. So my boy, he came up with this damn story that, you know, he was directing that to Janet. And let me tell you how crazy this dude is. Shout out to my boy Jay Fresh. And so he said that was directed to Bobby, and then she came back and kind of threw a subliminal at him when she said, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. I was like, how do you correlate the two of these things? He's like, man, I'm telling you, they used to, and again, it's 88, so we don't know. I mean,
Supposedly he did, really, though. So.
I see, I didn't know. I just, it was just always, I've never seen any pictures of them together. Shortly thereafter, I think Janet got married to the Elizondo dude or whatever like that.
Man, we don't recognize that here.
So, you know, so anyway, so yeah, that every time I think about that, I always kind of chuckle, because me and my boy, we went back and forth about, you know, whether or not he was talking about Janet and get her trying to play him or something like that. But yeah, man, Don't Be Cruel was the perfect setup for this album.
And shout outs to DMC.
Oh, no doubt. Shout out to DMC. Then we go to track 3.
3.
My Prerogative.
Yeah, I had my girlfriend in it.
I made this money, you didn't. Right, Ted?
Hey, man.
Okay, so tell me something. I'm looking at this, and I jotted some notes down here.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Riley isn't listed as the producer on this song. In fact, I don't see he's not listed as the producer on any of these songs. Don't Be Cruel was produced by Babyface and L.A. Reid, and then My Prerogative was produced by Bobby Brown and Griffin.
But so that's the thing. Gene Griffin is your man that was down with Teddy and Guy.
Right.
So that's, you know, he might have been in the studio.
I wonder why he never got any producer credits for it. Now he has, you know, people as personnel on the. I'm looking here on the wiki, and he is listed as personnel as far as people who performed on it.
Didn't he help write that song?
I always thought that he did.
I thought that he wrote it, but I just assumed since Gene was the old gangster looking dude that was in all the guy videos. Bald head dude with the glasses.
Bald dude, right.
So, like, who was like a legit gangster?
Maybe he did something and jerked Teddy in the process, because they have listed here the writers as Bobby and Gene. So
Really?
So maybe Teddy really wrote it and Gene, you know, took it from him, I guess. I don't know. That's weird.
Also, the first time in an R&B song that we heard, what is it, a blizzard?
Oh, facts. And then we moved to track 4, the aforementioned Roni. The truth about a Roni, she's a sweet little girl.
One of my favorite tweets that I ever tweeted. I tweeted that I ever quoted. I tweeted, who was telling so many lies about a Roni that Bobby had to make a whole song about it? Because he says the truth about a Roni. Like, who is lying about a Roni? And until now, we didn't know what a Roni was.
Nope. I remember I was watching something on TV and a girl had a Roni t-shirt, and I don't know if that was something.
Oh, that's my favorite girl. That's my wife.
I was like, yo, where did she get the Roni t-shirt from? And this was before, you know, the days of putting out merchandise like that. But that love that song, man.
And I think I want to say I got the whole joint after I saw the video.
Okay.
And like I said, how the video went, I never heard the original. That's not the original version. So when I was like, oh, okay, that's how Ronnie goes. Because it was because he had him breaking it down on the video. It was live. He had the drums and stuff. But that was an incredible song. It's you can tell that the King of Simp, Babyface, had something to do. You could tell. You can tell Simp King.
King of Simp.
You can tell.
Send all tweets at Eclectic with a K.
Come on, man. Hey, and as soon as you do, all I'm gonna do is send you a YouTube clip of soon as I get home from work and tell you to get the fuck out of my mentions.
All right, hey man, let me tell you something. Let's diverge real quick. Again, this week, you sent a tweet and one gotta goes, and I said one of them was Whip Appeal, and I was like, Whip Appeal gotta go. Man, my mentions got flooded with women. Like, what are you doing? Why
you can't get rid of the King of Simp?
I was like, nah, man. I was like, I was Whip Appeal don't compare. I don't even know what the tweet was, but I was like, Whip Appeal doesn't compare to these other songs. These other songs are dope. I was like, go back and listen to the lyrics. I was like, and it's not like it's a bad song. I was like, but come on, man. Come on,
exactly.
Man. Come on, man.
That shit didn't even pop off as slang. They tried. I'm like,
He said the King of Simp. Oh my gosh, that is funny.
100% the King of Simp.
So yeah, the aforementioned King of Simp, Babyface wrote this. The song was produced by L.A. Reid and Babyface, as well as track number 5, "Rock With You."
All right, now here's the question I got for you.
Go ahead.
What's better, Rock With You or Ronnie? What are you picking?
Shit. Let's see. We go.
You got to remember, he said, let's hear some Marvin Gaye, and then wake up.
Right. I'm gonna say Ronnie, but when you think about that Rock With You and then the Rock With You remix,
and the pelvic thrust, and with the long, man, come on, it wasn't no pelvic thrust in Ronnie.
Yeah, you're right. Rock With You. Because when you asked me that, the first thing that I thought about was the remix, and all night long with the man. Listen, Rock With You.
Because I think Rock With You is underrated and underappreciated because of Ronnie. But what I found out with this generation, they're not hip to Ronnie.
No.
I'm like, how do you know Ronnie?
You know, man, I think part of the reason is that this generation, at least some of them, weren't really exposed to a lot of great love songs coming up.
How do you know we got something in common but don't know Ronnie? Get out of here, man.
That should never happen. That's insufficient. That's insufficient parenting.
And what you said is 100% correct, because on one of the One Gotta Goes I did last week, people were saying that they hated Secret Lovers.
How do you hate that?
It's one of the...
Yeah, you hate Secret Lovers, but you like SZA. Come on, man.
Hey.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. But anyway.
But yeah.
Anyway.
So, okay, so what about you? Rock With You or Ronnie? It ain't easy.
I want to... my brain says... Rock With You. My brain says rock. I think I'm gonna go Rock With You, even though the Ronnie video just did everything for me. But I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Rock With You.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question to see if I can get you to change the answer. You making a Slow Jams Get the Draws tape, and you got room for one song. Which one is going on the tape, Ronnie or Rock With You? It's the last song on the tape.
If it's the last song on the tape, it's Rock With You. Because of the way that Rock With You ends.
Okay.
If it was if it was the first song on the tape, it would be Roni.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. See,
Yeah.
there's an art and a science to putting songs on the slow jams. Get the draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I said that without hesitation.
Oh, no.
Because you have to, like, you said it's the last song you only got. Oh, yeah, it's right with you. If it's the first song, I'm setting it off with Roni.
Because we've all been in that place where you got to put that one last song on there. You know how much space you got, and you got to figure out which song is going to go in that tape. That's definitely a podcast coming. Slow Jams, Get the Draws mixtape. The next track is track 6. Bobby picks it up a little bit. Every Little Step, man. What do you remember and like about that song?
The song, obviously the rap.
Mm-hmm.
The bridge is crazy. Here's the difference. And it could be because of it's Bobby Brown and the way he sings this, even though, King Sam wrote it.
He did a lot of writing on this album.
But it just seems like the majority of these songs, it was never been made like that before. Mm-mm. There was no album, there was no songs like these songs until after these songs.
Yeah. He definitely set the bar extremely high.
Because even the Heartbreak songs sounded nothing like that. They had Competition on there and Coming Home. They had like, these are R&B, nothing sounded like Every Little Step.
Right. Well, at the core, what it was, and what you speak of as far as sonically, it was a battle of two sets of great producers, Babyface in L.A., Reed, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which produced the Any Heartbreak album. So that's a good point.
So it's like Every Little Step. The rap, and if you ever listen to Every Little Step without the rap, you need to do something with yourself.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing till one day I was in the car and it came on. And I was just like,
I hate it.
And everybody, nobody wants to know what's going down.
You know what it is? There were some radio stations that wanted to, because again, some of you younger folks listening, rap still wasn't getting a lot of airplay, so. There was a version where Bob does not rap that part in the middle, and so they wanted to play that so you could get the record on an R&B station without Bobby rapping on it. And even, let's just point out the fact, even in 1988, Bobby Brown rapping sounds a lot better than half of these rappers is rapping today. Period. He does. I loved Every Little Step, man. Still love it. One thing I remember is obviously the video. Heart and Soul, man. The dances. They was getting off, man. Okay, I'm gonna admit something. I've never said this on a podcast before. It's only a couple of thousand people listening. I recorded video. Just so I could get the steps down.
Wow.
And I still know the steps to this day. 30 years later.
Well done.
You'll never see me do it, but but put it on the podcast, put it on the YouTube channel or something. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Then we go to track 7.
Hold on again.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shout outs to DMC again.
Oh, no doubt.
Shout out to DMC.
So then we go to track 7. I'll Be Good to You.
This
is written by Bobby and the gangster Gene Griffin.
I was. It was nice that he had writing credits, and not a bad song.
Not bad at all.
But this is one that did not have a video. Was not released.
Yeah, this is one, but I mean, like, he was just on such a roll. He didn't even need to release this song.
Nah, there's nothing else left on the album that was released as a single. But I'm interested to know what you didn't like. I know it wasn't Take It Slow.
Nah, I like Take It Slow.
I think you didn't like I Really Love You, Girl.
I love that song.
What?
That is my shit.
Then damn. All Day, All Night, I guess.
All Day, All Night was... It's not skippable. I'll listen. It's my least favorite, if you will. But it's not a bad song.
It's probably my least favorite, too.
Yeah, it's my least favorite. But again, if I'm listening, if I'm in the car, I'm skipping it. If I'm at my desk listening, I'm not skipping it. It's my least favorite. You know, if I need
Look at you loving I Really Love You, Girl.
Man, bruh. Back in 88.
Uh-oh. His wing got all blurry. And he's looking up at the sky, stroking his chin.
Back in 88, man. There was a young lady, man, who you know, she...
Gertrude.
She's too stupid. So she actually okay. Let me take you back even further. Remember how they would have the request hour on the radio station?
Oh yeah, you request a song. Yeah.
So there was a little girl who requested a Bobby Brown joint, and she actually requested this and dedicated it to me.
It was Kyle Johnson that stayed over on Elwood Street, wasn't you?
And so yeah, that was cool, man. That was cool. Yeah, so you know, so that song I always loved that song. Always loved that song. So yeah, but me and the girl, we didn't, you know, we broke up after like a month.
Well, I mean that's kind of long for back in the day. Relationships used to last till lunch,
right?
Back in the day,
man.
Like, oh, man, you heard? Yo, he with Lisa, and then at the lunch, we're like, oh man, they broke up, man. Yeah, they ain't together.
I never forget, man. A girl dumped me in the 3rd grade just because she said I was telling too many people. Shout out to Katina.
All right, still single.
And I remind her of that every time I see her, that she dumped me in the 3rd grade because I was telling. She didn't tell me I wasn't supposed to tell nobody.
Man, you blabbermouth.
But that's how it was in the go together era, man. You was happy to go together.
So yeah, that is true.
We just wanted to go together.
You writing the names on shit.
Yeah, man. I wrote her name on my Trapper Keeper.
Hey, that's big because Trapper Keeper, that ain't coming off.
Exactly.
You gotta scratch the plastic off for it to come off the Trapper Keeper.
I wrote that joint in pen, man. I had to scratch that shit out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you gotta scratch. That ain't just let me lick my thumb.
Right. And so my mom, what is this scratch on your notebook?
Somewhere like,
oh man, back.
She said I was telling to me.
Yeah, shout out to Katina.
Take it slow. Take it slow.
Written by Jay Logan, Lee Peters, and somebody named Larry White.
Well done. I don't know these people.
I don't never heard of it. I thought maybe you might know. You know everybody else.
Nah, if it was Larry Blackman, I would have fucked with you, but I don't think. Say these names again.
Jay Logan, Lee Peters, and Larry White were the writers, and the producer was Larry White.
Lee Peters sounds like something.
Not to be confused with Larry Love.
La.
Word. That's what they call me.
Lee Peters. I don't know why.
They used the Bobby Brown sample on that, by the way.
Well, yeah, because the original is the original song is the Larry Love song, which is an incredible song.
Right.
But yeah, they did. Yeah, use that Every Little Step. Peters, I don't know why that sounds like something, but yeah, that song was dope.
No doubt. And so you said All Day, All Night. I mean, that was still a jam, a slow jam. You said that was your least favorite.
Yeah.
And then the album closed out with I Really Love You, Girl. Do you have any I Really Love You, Girl stories?
I do not have a single I really love you, girl. Story.
No dedications or nothing.
No, because my go-to is Roni.
Okay,
My go-to is
okay.
Roni. So I don't have a really love you. Like I said, those were the Roni was my go-to. I had two go-tos on the play the slow song in the background while you're on the phone with your quiet storm voice, trying to find out what she's bringing to school for lunch the next day, saying absolutely nothing. But like, yeah. And so it was Roni and I Want to Be Your Man by Roger.
The great Roger Troutman.
Yeah, those were my two go-tos.
Did I ever tell you about the time a girl called me to break up with me and she had Let's Wait a While playing the
Yes,
background?
you did. That's still one of the funniest things you ever told me.
And that's why I probably don't like listening to that song to this day.
That's funny. I'll tell you why I didn't like that song.
You didn't like that?
Allow me to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Because as much as I am a big fan of Bobby Brown, I might have murdered my parents to be with Janet Jackson back in the day. I was just like, look, man, y'all gotta go.
Y'all gotta go.
She wants me to be with her. It's going down. What I don't and she was fucking in the video with the Last Dragon face, dude. That made me hate the video.
Yeah.
Up on the fire escape or wherever.
Were they dating or was he just in the video?
Man, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. I hate that I even brought it up. So I think we should move on.
Yeah,
Kyle.
we probably should. Bigger crush, Janet Jackson or Kim Fields?
Janet Jackson. No,
Okay.
I don't have
Okay.
a bigger crush than Janet Jackson.
I mean, Kim Fields was big crush for me.
Kim Fields is like my top 100.
Okay.
She's not. Kim Fields was it.
100.
Yeah, she's.
So you weren't rocking with Tootie like that?
Nah, man. Nah.
I love Tootie.
Tootie could get out of
But
here.
I mean, but Charlene Dupree.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Oh man, did we ever do a? I know I did a crush joint at some point. I did like a Rushmore crush.
We did a Rushmore joint.
Because that's when I got flagged for loving Robin Givens so much. Hey man, head of the class, Robin Givens, and Boomerang Robin Givens.
Boomerang was on like 2 weeks ago, and so when it comes on, I stop and start watching.
When she opened up that trench coat,
and like the first thing I thought when that came on, I was like, "E really loves Robin Givens."
Man, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I'll tell you this, and Boomerang, Robin Givens looked better than Halle Berry.
I can't co-sign on that.
Be the first and the last time she ever looked better than Halle Berry.
Right.
But in that movie, she looked better than Halle Berry. She was probably styled and made up to look better than Halle Berry.
Yeah. Halle Berry was really she was like the poo butt in that movie.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I can say.
Oh, man,
when she opened up that trench coat, I became a man. So,
back to Bobby Brown. Let's get back on Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
So, one last question.
Come on.
If you could get on any track,
that's easy.
And either sing with Bobby or maybe even throw 16 bars on it, which one you get on and why?
So it's easy because the answer is every little step.
Right.
Because I'll probably even sing a bar on every little step because he wasn't doing no vocal gymnastics on that joint. But the reason why I chuckled a little bit is because the back of my head was like, but you could go in and do like a diss verse to Jackie on Don't Be Cruel. Like, yeah, fucking Jackie, that's why we fucked your girl. I mean, just be like, but nah, it's every little step.
Okay.
Every little step. I'd rip it. What about you?
I think I want to get on my prerogative. I think because that's probably my favorite song.
Is that your favorite Bobby Brown song?
No.
What's your favorite Bobby Brown song? Humping Around?
Damn. That's tough, man.
If it ain't good enough for you,
damn. It, you know, it might be my prerogative.
wow. Look at you going chalk.
That's tough though, man. But I mean, it's almost like saying who's your favorite kid. Like,
Oh, Cameron.
No, it's Skylar.
No, that's my favorite.
yeah. He's definitely your favorite. He's doing
that's my favorite.
He's doing all the stuff that you like.
Yeah, exactly. That's my homie.
He's gonna come home from school looking like EST in a couple of days.
That's right. I knew where.
But yeah, man. Oh wow. That, you know, I've never been asked that question. I probably say my prerogative, but that's tough. And I'm sure after we get off this podcast, I'll probably think of like 2 other songs.
You're gonna be like, nah, it's On Our Own.
On Our Own was cold too.
On Our Own. Oh, what's the other joint? What's the joint? I was about to say the worst thing that you could say when trying to describe a Bobby Brown song. I was about to say, oh, when he was humping the ground. Like Eddie Every. What was the one? Not good enough. It wasn't good enough. It made me think.
You know.
Good enough.
Get away.
Get away.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
I love Get Away too.
Get Away was dope.
He's rapping his ass off and Get Away too.
Hey man,
dancing
too. That
dude. Hey, look, before we get off this podcast, remember people would talk how great of a dancer he was and that he was better than Michael. Remember that?
Yeah. Because see, you got all right. Hot take alert.
Go ahead.
Mike.
Oh shit.
I mean, okay. Let's really look at this for a second. His dancing it wasn't really dope, except for the choreography and Remember the Time.
Oh, that was dope.
But other than that, when did he just bust out some Thriller? I would
did
give
the
you
Moonwalk
Thriller.
in '82.
The
Thriller video.
The Moonwalk is not really a dance.
Yeah, well, we know. But
and 2, he stole it from Shalimar. Also, tying this back in, Bobby Brown said that he taught Michael the moonwalk.
Bobby know damn well he taught Michael.
He did. He 100% said. He said this shit like 2 weeks ago.
Sure he said it.
Like literally like 2 weeks ago he said this shit.
But
like my guy, good choreography that he do with a lot of people, and then like after a while he just kept doing the same shit, and it wasn't dope.
Hey, Mike was the first to spin and grab his nuts, man. Come on.
I will give you that. I cannot take that away from him.
Nobody ever spun and grabbed their nuts.
But for the longest, and much to everybody, because people hate me when I say shit, I always play ahead of Mike.
A lot of people do.
And I say that, people are like,
nah,
you crazy. I'm like, man, Hammer made me sweat and lose 10 pounds just watching him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, will you stop?
People fronted on Hammer, and they weren't rewarded.
Because it was oh no.
Oh my gosh, you that flew right.
And the great scheme of things, that was a good one. But the reason why you do not get the full complement of props is because it's put.
I always said, I know it's put.
Yeah.
But
I mean, technically, well done.
Thank you.
But in real life.
But if you say Hammer was better than Mike, no argument for me. I would actually agree.
And then someone, because this came up at a bar one day. Someone was like, nah, James Brown. I was like, man, if you don't get out of here with that foot shuffle.
And I mean, we weren't around when James was doing his thing.
We seen the shits.
Well, we did see him in Rocky.
Oh no! Hey man, living in America, you can't take that. I'll take living in America over.
Hey, man.
I'll take
That's
that over.
why
the
Apollo
bad
died right
performance.
there, man. That bullshit James came out there with.
Hey,
You
man.
can't get inspired off of living in America. Apollo was destined to die.
Yeah, you knew he was gonna die at that point, and he pointing.
Let me tell you something, man. I remember being in the theater, and we getting a sidetrack, but I remember being in the movie theater, and I knew when I saw James Brown come out there singing, I was like, man, Apollo about to die. I didn't even know he was going to die. I knew he was going to die. Oh, my gosh. Fucking James. And I love Apollo. James, but damn it.
You know, remember when he made I'm Real?
With full force?
For full force?
Oh, my gosh. You remember the
them yellow blue blockers on it?
Oh, man. Boy, you took me back just now.
Hey, man.
I'm the real super bad.
Yeah. So you better get out of here with them yellow blue blockers on. Tell nobody you real.
I don't know who was worse, James or Full Force for backing him up.
Hey, man. It's James, man. He's the real super bad. And there's nobody out there good enough to take the things that he has.
No, sir, at all. Before we get out of here, man, I would be remiss. I mean, obviously, we know Bobby. Again, this album was incredible. One of the best albums to come out in arguably one of the best albums in the 80s as far as R&B is concerned.
Oh, 100% it is.
Your thoughts on where Bobby and his group is right now? You feeling that?
Boston. What?
The RB, whatever they call themselves now.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
Yeah, are you feeling that?
I'm feeling anything that doesn't have Johnny. So
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it.
I had plans to see New Edition this summer in concert, and then when I found out that the whole coming, I was like,
"Because do you remember Head of State?"
Yeah.
So this is not too much different from Head of State.
I don't know, man. I guess maybe the fan in me wants all six of them on stage together. And
have you ever seen all of them on the shits?
Yes. And ironically, the one who got the biggest applause was Bobby Brown.
Well, of course.
And you know what's funny, man? It was, I'll never forget it. So me and my wife, we go to this concert. It's at this amphitheater called Chastain here in Atlanta, and Genuine is open up, right? And he's opening up, and there's a curtain, and from the side of the curtain, you can kind of see some people walking in, and for some reason, I don't think that they meant to have that curtain open, but the audience see like a little small pathway of people coming in backstage or whatever, and so Bobby is walking past the curtain, and he stops, and he's talking to somebody, and the fans can see Bobby, and Genuine is in the middle of his set, and I mean, like, really weren't. I mean, now Genuine had hits at the time, but people really wasn't feeling. I mean, like at this point, people were really ready to see New Edition. Mm-hmm. So Genuine is singing, and people just sitting there like, okay, bro, okay. So people see Bobby, and the women start going crazy, and Genuine kind of looks around like, what y'all yelling for?
Well, I know that ain't for me.
Man, it was the funniest shit, man. So I enjoyed that concert that night. That was the only time I've seen all six of them together. And so, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that they're not together, man. But, I mean, if Bobby's doing his set, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm good.
I wish he never met Whitney.
Oh, here comes Rashawn Jamal talking about the deceased.
Because no, whatever she does, whatever she do. But I think he would still, to this day, be Bobby Brown if he went out. Instead of, he's Bobby Brown adjacent right now.
Right.
Because even when he was making Good Enough and Getaway, he just didn't take his shirt off. We just had a little bit of a six pack.
Yeah, he can't take that shirt off now, bro.
I mean, he still will, but he shouldn't.
He shouldn't.
And so
him nor Casey.
And I mean, I think if he wouldn't have met her, he would have still had it popping off.
And you know what's funny, man? It's always been interesting that people would attribute. For a long time, people attributed her drug use to him, but it's the other way around.
Yep.
She got him on drugs.
That's, again, if he wouldn't have met her, if he would have stayed with Jackie, he would have been fine.
Oh man, that is.
Yeah. Oh, also one small thing about Bobby Brown. His role in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate is one of my favorite things ever.
Funny. That was fun. Yeah, that was a good role.
And the reason, and the main reason, besides being a huge Bobby Brown fan, is I did not know he was in the movie, and he just popped up on the screen.
He did. He really did.
Yeah. I'm like, stop it.
He really did, and he carried the scenes too, man. He was good. Yeah. He was really good. So yeah, man, it's time for us to get up on out of here, put a bow on this podcast.
Don't be cruel.
Yeah, don't be cruel. Before we get out of here, man, tell the people where they can find you, where they can hit you up at.
You can hit me up at King of Stage.
Podcast.
Yeah, King of Pod. Listen, it depends on what you like. If you like if you listen to this and you like the R&B and you like nostalgia, you go on your Twitter machines and you follow me at Eclectic. What you'll get is a lot of randomness. Mm-hmm. And some old school feelings. Just so you know, that is ECLECTIK. Eclectic Discussion Podcast has a few R&B themed past episodes. Mm-hmm. There's the Mary J. Blige Kill R&B. There's 90s R&B. Mm-hmm. There's a whole thing dedicated to female R&B groups of the 90s. There's a Slow Jams podcast. There's something else.
You did an NE one too.
It's a new edition.
Yep.
The NE Pod Break is what it's called. Did the NE Pod Break. So it's a lot of stuff. You go and listen to that. If you're feeling hip-hoppity, and we're only talking about the rapidiest of the raps. We all enunciate over on this side. At Tweet Rhymes Life. Encyclopedia Hip Hop is the podcast. You can ask a lot of stuff over there. And then if you're feeling extra froggy and you want to follow me everywhere, at One Gotta Go. I put all the music up there because, that try to bring people together. But yeah, you can follow that, play the game with me, and you can always hit me up and ask questions. I got answers. You might not like what the answer is, but I got the answers. So that's what's up.
No doubt. Well, you've been listening this long. I want to thank you all for listening. You know how to find me and you know how to get down. As always, thank you for listening, tuning in, downloading, subscribing to the edition of the 12 Kyle Podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. So for my boy Eclectic, we out of here. We'll catch you next time. 5 Gs.